Hey guys, Reaper coming at you with some Fallout 4 gameplay today. This video I wanted to do an analysis sort of comparison to Fallout 4 versus the other Fallouts, being New Vegas and 3, and just kind of what I liked and disliked about the game. So for starters, the combat, what you're seeing right now, definitely an improvement from the previous games, especially if you play on a PC. I know that sounds elitist, but it is true that it controls better for sure with a mouse versus joystick, but overall, this is an Xbox gameplay. It's a market improvement over the previous games, especially the aiming. The adjustments that can be made to the guns are really cool too, or you can kind of modify them however you like. It's really nice, and overall, combat is better in this game. Next up is dialogue. This one is kind of a hit and miss for me. It's cool that your character is voiced in this game, and in the other ones it was just text based. But the four dialogue options, which you'll see in a second, is kind of not ideal in my opinion, just because it's ambiguous as to what you're gonna say. It'll give you like a summary, but it's not really specific. Whereas in the other ones, it gave you a full text line and you can see specifically what you would be saying. So it was a little bit better in the previous games. But you can get mods for Fallout 4 for the dialogue to extend it, so that isn't really an issue because you can get mods on all the systems now. Next up is soundtrack. I definitely think that Fallout 4 has a solid soundtrack, and I'm going to be referring to the radio stations as opposed to the OST, which is always good in all of the games. So audio in New Vegas was probably my favorite. That's actually my favorite Fallout game, so I'll probably reference it a few times. The radio stations always, like, I know the words front to back in all of the songs on that game. In Fallout 4, it's the same, but that's just because I played it a long time. But I definitely think that New Vegas had a solid soundtrack as opposed to Fallout 4, not that it's bad. And Fallout 3 is in the mix. It's good, but not as strong as the other two in my opinion. But that's not to say it's bad, because all of the Fallout games have great soundtracks. Story coming up next. This one, again, is a hit and miss for me. I think that it was an enjoyable story. I am kind of biased because Fallout's my favorite game, so, take that with what you will. I think that the lines are blurred in the end between the three different factions that you can vie for, being the Brotherhood of Steel, Institute, and the Railroad. And the Minutemen are kind of thrown in there, but they're not important at all. But I think that it's kind of the best of the three evils, if that makes sense, because once you play the game, you'll kind of see that they all have intentions, but all the intentions aren't necessarily good in the end, especially when it comes to merging the ideas. So, in my opinion, New Vegas had a more enjoyable story, just because the end you could kind of pick your own. Like, you could side with yourself, you could side with the NCR, you could side with the Brotherhood. A ton of different options to do there, and the motivations for all the factions were not as kind of glum, if that makes sense. But New Vegas, solid story. Fallout 3 also had a good story. I didn't go through that one too much. I played it before Fallout 4 came out, so I didn't really get an opportunity to kind of enjoy it as much. But I definitely think that it's still a solid story, and it stands alone. And the last thing that I kind of want to mention is DLC. I think that DLC for New Vegas, again, was probably the better in my opinion, just because it was made by Obsidian. It's a lot wackier and out there in a good way, and it was just interesting to me. There's talking toasters in one, talking dishwasher. Like, it's just so outlandish and interesting. In Fallout 4, though, this is video gameplay from Nuka World, which was the final DLC that released for the game, came out last year in 2017. By far one of my favorite experiences of the year for gameplay, because it was just so cool to be able to explore an abandoned theme park, sort of abandoned. The raiders are in the park, and you could either side with them or kill them all, which I don't think I chose because it took too long. But it's interesting that they give you that option, so you can kind of make with it what you will. I didn't play any of the Fallout 3 DLC, unfortunately. I want to get to it at some point, and maybe I'll make a separate video for that, who knows. But DLC, Fallout New Vegas for sure, top there. Fallout 4, right under that. Far Harbor was also kind of interesting. Not really my cup of tea, but it was really cool story. And 3, I've heard of it. I've heard of the DLC, and it's pretty good from what I've heard. And yeah, so I hope this analysis didn't sound rushed or anything like that. I didn't want to make it over long, but I just kind of wanted to give my thoughts on the game, considering it was kind of controversial at the time, whether it was good or not. I personally enjoyed the heck out of it, and if you haven't played it, I definitely recommend it. So thank you guys for watching. Have an awesome day. Subscribe if you liked, like if you liked. Thank you very much. Bye.